Hey everybody. Montana returns home this week to face Cal Poly on homecoming. We'll start with Coach Hauck. Well, first of all, we've got Big Sky Player of the Week, Michael Wortham, with us, and linebacker Clay Oven. But we'll start with Coach. Your thoughts? Big win for Montana down at Idaho State. Difficult win, but your thoughts on that game and then coming home to face Cal Poly.
All right, thanks, Tabes. Well, it was an outstanding effort and a great win for our guys. We have a tough-minded football team, and it showed on Saturday night. So proud of our guys going and getting that win and fighting to the finish to make sure that happens. So good job by our guys, and now it's on to the next one, which is how it has to be this time of year. Cal Poly's they're a good team. Their coaches do a great job. You know, Paul Wolf is he's veteran, he's detailed, he's organized, he knows what he's doing as the head coach. They'll be ready to play. Tim Rosenbaugh's knows this really well. They're moving the ball up and down the field. They've done a great job on offense so far this season, and then Cody Von Oppen has that defense playing really well. I went back and watched our game from last year, and they're leaning on some of the zone pressure stuff still, and that gave us fits in our game down there last year. So watched them work Sac State over a week ago. That was kind of eye-opening. D-line played well, quarterback played well, wide receivers played well. Just think that they're playing at a high level, and that game was a good win for them, and one that we'll be watching this week to try to diagnose what they did. So anyway, we're excited for homecoming week, you know, pep rally Friday night, et cetera, all the stuff that goes along with that. It should be a good week of preparation for us, and hopefully we'll be ready to go Saturday.
Questions?
Clay, what was it like just being a part of a game like that on Saturday night and being able to come back and win in such thrilling fashion?
It's always great to be with your teammates. It's a great environment, you know, great to play, and it's you know, really a cool experience to kind of be in a dogfight like that and to see guys around you kind of rise and light up, and just to be able to be part of that. I mean, it's blessed to be here, blessed to be able to do that.
Coach mentioned it, but turning the page is so important this time of year. So how do you sort of reset and readjust and get ready for this week?
You know, I feel like you kind of just lock in on your assignment, lock in with your coach and your buddies out in the field, and kind of just turn the page on Monday and start to work on the next team.
Michael, just your performance overall. I know you mentioned it after the game on Saturday, but you're used to throwing the ball, but you got to show off your abilities throwing the ball. So, I mean, just take us through it now that you've had a couple days to think about your performance on Saturday night.
Plays were called, you know. Coach gave me an opportunity. And, yeah, I just went out there and executed exactly how they wanted me to execute the play. And, you know, everybody around me did their job. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters, and that's what makes the play work.
Coach, have you ever had a player this diverse in terms of running it, throwing it, returning kicks, returning punts, all this sort of stuff?
We had Bergen last year. He did all that stuff. Mike's good at it, though. That's not to discount anything Mike's doing. Mike's special.
Just to see him get acknowledged for his great performance on Saturday, what did you think of that? Just him winning Big Sky Conference Player of the Week.
Oh, he did.
Yep, he did.
Great, awesome, deserved. You know, he had 250 yards of total offense, and that I don't think they count. Do they count throws in that?
No.
They don't count the passing in that. So he had a lot of impact on the game, and you know, anytime Mike's in the game, he's got impact on it. Whether he's doing something or drawing the defense's attention, he's got a lot of playmaking ability.
You mentioned Paul Wolf leading Cal Poly. As somebody that's been in the league for a long time, you're probably not surprised to see Cal Poly improve the way that they have.
No, Paul does a good job. Paul's done a great job everywhere he's been. I mean, from the time he was a GA at Washington State till now, he's done a good job at everything he's done coaching wise, and he's such a solid dude. On top of that, he's a guy you know they're going to be ready to play. You know he's going to do a good job, and you know he's going to do it right.
Coach, I know it's obviously been a few years since they made the switch from the triple option. I still, every time I think of Cal Poly, I think of that. But how would you describe them offensively?
They're spread, you know, with air raid and run and shoot principles.
What stands out as far as, you know, personnel and executing on
You know, I don't know their personnel very well yet, Sean. It's early in the week.
Mike, I know when we talked to you in fall camp about just coming here, getting integrated in Missoula and a part of Griz Nation and stuff, but now that we're kind of 5 weeks in, we've got a chance to really kind of soak it all in a little bit more with the season going on. How would you describe what it's like to be a Griz?
Man, just amazing. We have an amazing team. We're gonna keep fighting each game.
Coach, how would you describe the balance of how and when to use Mike on offense, and how you feel like you guys have done with that so far this season?
Well, that's all about game planning. So you're breaking teams down. You've got a plan based on down and distance, field position, all those different things. So that's what game planning is. That's how you decide.
Clay, for you, going in the Big Sky, obviously a lot of different teams and different styles and things like that. What's it like kind of going from some run heavy teams to last week was pass heavy? Cal Poly's going to spread it out and just kind of game planning each week for different kinds of offenses.
I think it's really cool to see. I mean, kind of each week you're kind of preparing a different, mindset, or how you prepare, or drills you do, or type of stuff like that. So it's really cool to kind of shift week to week and get to work on different stuff as a player. So it's a really cool experience.
Clay, for you get to make an impact on defense, but also special teams. You made a number of big hits on punt returners this year, down some footballs. So what's it like to make some big plays, on the other third of the ball?
It's great. Our coaches put us in a spot to, game plan, week to week. So I just kind of go out there and, try to play my hardest. And, we need to win in all three phases of the game. So I'm blessed to be a part of it.
Coach, the Mustang front seven has proven to be pretty good this year. They held the Davis rushing attack. They limited them pretty good, and they have that linebacker who's got 5 sacks. So can you just kind of talk about their strengths on that side?
Yeah, again, in limited study, they do have good players on defense. I know jersey numbers. I don't know names yet. I will by the end of the week. But I think their defensive line is a real strength for them.
Coach was going to ask you about Hunter Peck and just what he's brought to the table. I think there was a lot of excitement around him with fans familiar what he did at Carroll. But how would you I guess evaluate his ability to jump from Frontier to the Big Sky and just be an impact player on your defense?
Well, I think that's always a big question, whether someone can make that leap, because it's fairly significant, and he's done it without, and there's no hitch in that. He's come in and really fit in well. He's making plays, does a lot of good things. He plays hard. I still think his best football is to come. I think it inhibited him not being able to be here for spring practice, but he had some, he's going to medical school, so he had some school things he had to take care of. So it was unfortunate from a football standpoint, probably productive long-term for him. But I think he's just getting there. I think his best football is ahead of him.
Clay, similar question. Just when you work with a guy like that, like he's a new teammate, but he's a veteran player, he's had success at another level of football and like within Montana, which is kind of unique. What's it been like, being a teammate of his, working with him, and maybe has he had any impact on you as you've grown in this game at all?
Hunter's a great dude. I mean, on the defense, you kind of got to be close and work with everybody pretty closely. So it's nice to have a guy that experienced, that old, and then take tips away from him and learn from him.
Kyle, I'd add this personality. Sorry. Ready? Personality-wise, he really fits in. His temperament, his personality, who he is, fits in well with our team.
Bobby, Jake Mason made a number of plays down the stretch in the fourth quarter there. Just how have you seen his progression as a player come along, and how was he able to make a handful of plays like he did late in that game?
Yeah, I think, playing hard is probably the starting point. Jake plays really hard. He's learning. He's still a young player, but continued weight room time, gaining size, strength, and speed has helped him. And you execute your assignment. Sometimes the play comes to you. Sometimes it goes to somebody else. But he's shown the ability to, when the play's his to make, he makes it, which is it's a good feature in a player.
And Clay, Idaho State's running back, Dason Brooks, and he came into that game second in the conference in rushing yards per game. How are you guys able to hold him in check, and just what have you thought of the progress the run defense has been making, because statistically it looks better each week?
You know, just our coaches kind of just prep us for the game plan. You know, they give us a goal in mind on how to handle guys, and you know, we're able to go out there and just execute our jobs.
I think statistically, if you knock off 150 yards on 2 plays at the end of the Indiana State game, statistically we've been pretty good.
Anything else you want to add to that, Bobby, just why the run defense has gotten better the past few weeks?
I don't know that it's gotten better the past few weeks, is sort of the point I was making.
And then, Mike, Coach was saying after the game just how you're able to pick things up pretty quickly. You only need to see it one time maybe. Where does that come from? How long has that been an aspect of just you as a football player, and why is that a strength for you?
Really just experience. Been in this position in previous schools before, so it's really just at the end of the day it comes down to me, how much I study the game and stuff like that. So some things come easier, some things require a little more studying, but whatever they throw at me, I'm prepared for it.
Mike, for you in Big Sky play, just preparing for teams that you know and have seen before, but with a new team, has that been a challenge at all, or has that been different at all with different schemes, or has it been fairly seamless for you to do something like that?
Nah, I mean it's the same thing. Everybody wants to win on Saturday, and that's your goal. You're going to game plan against the next team to win. Yeah, I have experience in this league, but just being here doesn't change nothing. It's just the same. We go out there, we execute, do our job, and the goal is to win each week.
And Clay, we talked about obviously Cal Poly's offense being pretty high-powered, and they have been for a few years. Got one of the best receivers in the league statistically. Just your thoughts on the challenge of that, and just kind of your excitement to go against an offense like that once again, like Idaho State.
Yeah, just excited to kind of get in the film room and get out on the practice field and figure out what we're going to do this week. So just excited to get started on it.
One more.
Coach, I know I kind of asked about it after the Idaho State game, but after looking back on it, how do you think the depth at corner did, and overall just thoughts on that position, and in particular the 2 young guys?
Well, I thought the 2 young guys did a nice job. They're all, some of them are way young, but you're talking about the 2 freshmen. Yeah, I thought they did a good job. I thought the group was competitive, and they cinched it down a little second half. We didn't cover very well the first half. That's not all them. That's all 11, right? But I thought they did a good job.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.